Hello, everybody. So excited to be here. Today it's going to be just me and myself. So I am so excited to talk about what I have planned for today. I want to talk about commitment. I did go over commitment yesterday from the point of view of myself, but I want to talk about the commitment we all have or made and we were not able to keep up with it, and then we start calling ourselves different names. Then it becomes identity, then it becomes a loop, and then stay stuck. So I want to talk about that today, but before we get started, as you know, we have to talk about coming here and now, because if we're not here and now, then we can't really talk about the things I have planned for today. So my question is, are you here and now? It's so hard to know. So how do we know if we're here? We have to get our mind under our control. Our mind is in our power. It doesn't own us, we own it. And this is something that I discovered close to being on my deathbed. So from that day on, I've been mastering my brain, and I've been teaching others how to master this as well. You can talk to your brain. It doesn't own you, you own it. So to start off, how many times did you think about the past today? Now be honest, because a lot of the times we think, no, I didn't think about past. But if you think about it a little bit longer, deeper, just calm your mind down for a second and think about it. How many times did it pull you over into a past situation? Now, I wish to say that these situations, most of the time could be good things, because in the past we did have a lot of good things also happen to us. Not always everything is not that pleasant, right? There are good memories, but our brain has the tendency to pull us to not the good memories. Most of the time when it does it on its own, it's usually something that you are unhappy about, or you're beating yourself about, or you can't forgive somebody about something, or you cannot forgive yourself about something that happened. So these are the things that your brain goes, you should have done this, you could have done this, why didn't you do this, why didn't you say this, I wish you did this, right? All of these conversations, our brain takes us over there and want to talk about it as if we can recreate it and somehow we can fix it. But you know, and I know, we can't fix the past. Past is a past. It's done. It's over. So why does our brain do that? Because to waste time. Of course it wants to waste time because it has a lot of memory. So it's trying to organize it, and it wants to have some resolution. It wants to have some answers. But it's waste of time, because now and here in this place is where we can create. Unfortunately, going to the past, it doesn't do anything for us. This is why sometimes we say, I procrastinate. Why do we procrastinate? Because we spend a lot of time in the past thinking that something I'm going to do now is going to be the worst. So I'll just think about what I did in the past, right? And I procrastinate. I take my time to do things. So we sometimes even call ourselves lazy. I don't want to do things. I'm not committed. I'm not disciplined, all these things. But that's because we spend most of our time in the past. So if you honestly ask yourself today, how many times were you in the past? Now, if you're in the past, what were you thinking about? Good things? That's okay. If it's anything to do with beating yourself up or beating somebody up, or you should have, could have, would have, should have, all of those things, it's just waste of time. So what can I do with this past? I have to let it go. You have to let it go. Every one of us have to let it go. But before we let it go, most important thing for our brain to close each of these loops and chapters is to take the lessons. Can you extract the lessons from it? Because if you don't take the lessons, guess what? It's going to go back again and play the loop again, read the same chapter again, play the same movie again. You know how boring that is to do it, right? It gets tiring, but it does it, and we go to it and we spend time there. So why not just let it go and take the lessons and then bring the lessons here so you can apply it? Because in this moment, actually, I can use some of those guidance, right? So I don't recreate what I did in the past. I can use that here, but I have to be here. I can't be in the past thinking about it. I have to be here. This is the only place where things can happen. Now, another place that we like to go is the future. Future is beautiful. We should go there because that's where we can set intention. That's where you can set goals, which I don't set, but intentions is what I set. So it's similar to goals, right? So you can set those but then you can't sit there projecting what your future is going to be. And have you ever noticed that when you start doing that, a lot of the time your brain will bring things from the past and say, you know what if this happens again? What if it doesn't go like this? I don't think you should do this because you remember in the past it happened like this. So again, what it's doing is that your brain is projecting into the future what happened in the past. Now the future is so muddy and cloudy, and you cannot create a future. And that's one thing that we don't have, right? As a human, we cannot create our future. It just needs to be blessed, and we just need to release it so that it arrives to us. But we should set intention. I'm not saying don't think about your future. I'm saying set intentions for the future, and you know what you want and where you're headed, because you should know a path to get to where your destination is. But don't plan it as if you have to know every second by second, because your brain will bring the past and then make it very cloudy, and that way you spend a lot of time. What happens is recreating a past in the future. Again, it's waste of time. It's nothing is going to happen in the future. If you keep thinking in the future, you're going to stay stuck. I'm going to stay stuck. So what do I have to do? I have to bless it, and I have to release it. Look what happens when I do. I release the past, I let go of the past, and I release the future. Look what happens. I have my both hands available to be here and now. In this moment is where I can create, where you can create, where we can all learn, because learning requires active mind. We can't have in the past or the future and say, I'm learning, because I'm not. That's not actively involved in it. So it's going to become very passive. So learning requires now and here, and then also living. If you want to live a great life and lead a great life, and you be here in present with yourself and others in your life, you also have to be here and now. You can't be in the past and say, I'm here, I'm listening. People will know you're not, because you're half here somewhere else, other half is somewhere else. That's when your body is in a place where your mind is somewhere else. That's because we are in the past or the future. So living requires your presence, which means you have to be here and now. And then the last thing is leading. And a lot of times when I say leading, people say, I'm not leading the country. No, leading is not just the country. People who lead the country are not just leaders. You are a leader. I am a leader of my life and the people that I take care of, and the people that I lead in my business. I'm a leader. You are a leader of yourself, those people you love, and what you do for living. You are a leader in that. All of us are leaders in our own way. So we don't just lead the country, we actually lead ourselves as well. My life has to be led by somebody, otherwise it will just be chaos. So I lead it. Same way you have to lead it. So in order to lead ourselves or others that we care, we also need to be here, because I can't lead from thinking about my past or drowning in my future plans. I cannot lead anybody. So I have to bring myself here and now. So this here and now is so powerful, but it is one place that our brain doesn't like to be. And more distraction and more chaos we have in the world, what happens is it actually wants to be in the past or the future. This is why attention is so scattered. This is why we are so distracted. This is why we are so connected through phone and internet, but we're so disconnected personally because we're not present, right? It needs to happen here. So how do we do this? Same as what I just modeled. Just talk to your brain. This is something that I have created. I've been using it since the age of 12, and I talked to my brain before too, but after my surviving my suicide, I've been able to use it to control my brain. Instead of listening to it and doing what it was telling me, then I started talking to it and I started challenging it, because I didn't want my brain to own me after that incident, because my brain was very deceiving to that situation. So I never listened to it. Now I challenge it. I ask questions. I tell it what to do. I own my brain. It doesn't own me. So in order to do that, that's what you have to do. You have to talk to your brain. So more importantly than talking to your brain, the next step is to really breathe, because I know when I say breathe, everybody says, I always breathe, Kohila. What are you talking about? Of course we're breathing. I've been breathing too. But guess what? We breathe like this. We hold everything in our shoulders and neck up into, the shoulders are into my ears. And then I say, I'm breathing. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. How many of us are saying we're fine, but we're not fine? And we don't want to tell people that we're not fine. Why? Because the society expects us, when somebody says, how are you? I used to say always, I'm fine. You know what? I wasn't fine. Even on the day that I decide to end my life, when if somebody asked me, how are you, Kohila? I would have said, I'm fine. But I wasn't fine. So when people say I'm fine, that question needs to be even deepened and asked. A very bigger question is, okay, tell me a little bit more. What are you doing today? Because if we don't ask, people are pretending. Everybody wants to be pretending. I don't know why we got into this, but we need to get deeper and ask people to share more with us, because how are you? I'm fine is no longer going to work. We have to wake up. We have to let ourselves connect again, because we're not connecting, right? We're so disconnected. So we have to connect. So in order to do that, breathing actually grounds you. So let's do 3 rounds of my favorite. My favorite is inhale for 4, hold for 4, and then I just love to exhale for 8. And I just love letting go everything, like the stress, the worry, the pain, the fear, the anxiety, whatever I could just let go through your mouth. Just let it go, because you don't want to keep anything. Your body is not a storage place for things that doesn't need to be stored, but we treat it like a storage place, right? So we have to let it go. So let's do that again. Inhale for 4, hold for 4. When you're holding for 4, you can think of it as sending the air to everywhere, or picking up everything that you want to come out. Either way, it doesn't matter. Either you're sending the air or you're bringing everything that needs to go out. So let's release for 8. Let's inhale for 4 again. Hold for 4. And then I want you to let go everything. You don't need to keep anything. Don't store anything. Be good to your body and let it go, because we don't need anything in our body. Only good things should stay. The rest of the stress and fear and anxiety, all of it should just release out of our mouth and into the air outside. Don't keep it in your body, because we love to store, right? We love to store it in here. And then we feel our back pain, our neck pain, shoulder pain, so many different pains that we have to feel, because we tend to carry it all in here for some reason, right? Okay, so now we are here. So let's talk about today's topic is commitment. Commitment isn't your problem. Your system is not ready, is because I am a system thinker. I think from the system, and everything I have developed in the human development and in the education, and what I certify my coaches under, is all about systems. We are a biological system. I'm a living system. So how can I just expect to have a positive mindset, growth mindset, and discipline, as if it just shows up? No, there has to be so many variables that this body has to work through in order for me to come up with the positive mindset. In order for me to be disciplined, I have to have certain things that has to happen internally in my systems for my whole biological system to act and have an output of positive mindset. So I don't just get positive mindset. I don't know about you guys, but I used to think positive mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get positive mindset, positive mindset, positive mindset. I thought it was just something that, you just get it by saying, right? Because nobody teaches us. Who has ever taught us that what positive mindset, how do you get there? No, it just says it as it should be happening, and it never happened to me. So today I want to talk about commitment. People keep saying, I just need to be more committed, I need more discipline, I need to stay consistent, but they keep breaking their own words, right? You probably broke your own word too, and you probably didn't stay committed to something, or you didn't stay disciplined to something that you promised yourself, or you didn't stay consistent. So why is that they start off strong? Why is that we all start off strong, but then something happens and then we just stop? You had that moment before? So why are we keep breaking our own words? And it's not like we're not starting, like so many times we start, right? There's so many examples I can come up with. We always start, but why do we stop? What happens? I mean, it felt like I had the discipline. It felt like I wanted to do this. It felt like I had the commitment. It felt like I want what I was committing to. But all of a sudden, we just stop. And I see this all the time. I've been leading adults for the last 5.5 years in building their businesses. It's so exciting when they start. They're so excited to go through it. When it hits that build the business, let's launch, and let's now serve the clients, the real clients, this commitment just falls apart. It's when it's execution and implementation and execution, the commitment just kind of dissolves, right? So it's so shocking for me. So I used to stay so committed to their commitment that for some years ago, I deeply got into depression because I was always successful with all my students, with the younger students and the families. I was always successful. When I started leading adults, it was very different. So I had to relearn my way of committing to people when they cannot stay committed. And I had to look deeper because I'm a system level thinker. So I had to look deeper. So my program now, we don't let anybody go into building their business until they go through 8 weeks, 8 weeks of preparing themselves. And even then, I have to work very closely for them to stay with their commitment when it comes to implementation and execution. Learning, no problem. Everybody is fine with learning. Learning stays fine. But when it comes to implementation and execution, the commitment falls apart. And that's why we assist our clients so much, and we take them through cohort. We have weekly calls, but even then it's hard. So what stops? Internal problems, right? It's always internal systems not in alignment. So when we do this, when we stop, when we make a commitment, we stay strong, and then all of a sudden something stops, what happens? We push harder, right? We try to become more disciplined. We tell ourselves, no, we got to get back to that, schedule I had, or whatever it is, right? And we override ourselves. We don't tend to listen to things, right? Right? Is it working when we do that? No. That's why I don't tell my coaches when I'm leading them, if they ever get stopped in the middle of something, in implementation stage or anything, I don't tell them to push harder. I really get them back into thinking what's going on inside of them. Same for me. If I ever stop, I have to think about what's happening inside of me. Are my systems in alignment? Are they in activation? Can I activate my systems to come to that commitment again? Because if it doesn't come from internal, pushing harder, getting more discipline, I don't even know how to do that without systems being in alignment. It's just not going to work. And you probably all tried it, and you know it doesn't work as well, right? So we've been taught in our education system, in the personal development realm and everywhere, that commitment is a mindset issue, right? You all heard of this, right? It's a mindset issue. You need to have growth mindset. You need to have positive mindset. Then you can stay committed, right? Everybody preach about this. Everybody pumps everyone up about it. Like, come on, get positive mindset. This is how you get commitment in your life, right? I wish to say that it's true. It's not. Commitment is not mental. It's not mental at all. It's not in your mindset. Maybe when you stay committed with the alignment of all of your systems, then your mindset is positive and it's growth mindset that leads to commitment. Maybe it's a byproduct. Mindset is a byproduct. Commitment comes from also the system alignment, but it's not a commitment. It's not a mental thing. It's a capacity thing. It's from your capacity to be committed. Are your system have the capacity to stay committed? It is a different question than mindset. But we've been told that mindset is what keeps you committed. So we try to fix the mindset. You can't fix mindset. You need to shift your stories. Mind stories. It actually starts with our mind stories. They need to be shifted so that you can then have the mindset you need to have commitment. Starts with the mind stories. Actually, it's lower than that. There's another level deeper that we need to work on, right? So now I want to show you how I look at this from the Readiness OS perspective. So when I look at this, I don't look at it like, okay, there is a behavior or there's a pattern here. There's somebody is doing this again and again. Why are they starting? Why are they stopping, right? Why can't they stay committed? Even with my coaches, this is how I help. This is how we help all of our clientels as well, right? We look across the systems. I have developed this Readiness OS over 12 systems within us, so that can help us to look at this in a more in-depth way. So first of all, we have to ask ourselves, is the nervous system overwhelmed? How is your nervous system doing at the moment of your commitment being going not in the right direction, not staying committed? Well, how is that doing? Well, if if your nervous system is overwhelmed, you're gonna start to avoid things because it doesn't have the capacity to do it, what we're asking it to do, right? Then we have to look at our energy. How's our energy in our body, and how am I showing up in energy? What is my energy level, right? If your energy level is strained and you feel exhausted, you're not going to go forward. You'll be stopped. You're going to stop because there's no energy in this biological system to keep you with your consistency and commitment in anything, right? And then we also have our protective system, which is there to protect us. We all have this. And then we need to see if that is activated. Are you in the protective mode? If you are, your commitment is going to be pulled back. Because when we're in protective mode, we're not thinking of, I need to stay committed. We're thinking about, I need to save this person, right? We're in a safety survival mode. So that's not going to happen either. And then we have to look at the environment, because we're a biological system. It's just like any other biological system. The environment is going to be affecting us. It's if it's in a chaotic situation, guess what? You can't sustain it. How many of us feel the environment in the world is in chaos? And if we look at any of those things, how can you stay committed to what you need to do? You're going to get very distracted, very, maybe very, even feel bad and even feel confused, right? So it's not that you're not committed. Your system isn't ready to hold it. That's why it's a capacity issue. It's not that you're not committed. Every one of us can be committed if our system has the capacity to hold it. But if our systems don't have the capacity to hold it, if things are off, then it's not going to happen. So we're always, what's happening in the world between what I have created and what the world says is that we're always looking at this as, I need to work harder to do what I need to do. No, you don't need to work harder. You just need to learn how to get the systems in alignment and act. How do you know how to activate your own system? Then when you do those things, commitment is a byproduct of that. So instead of asking, why can't I stay committed? Here is a better question for you to ask. Instead of asking, why can't I stay committed? Start asking this question. What in my system isn't ready? What in my system isn't ready yet? It's not, I don't have the mindset yet. Yes, it works when you have the mindset. But when you don't have it, you cannot talk about the mindset, because that is starting from the top level down. I want to go to the base of it, the surface, under the surface, to the root of it. And then from there, ask, what is my system? What in my system isn't ready yet? So I'm saying, don't ask, why can't I stay committed? Because that doesn't give you anything, because it's going to beat you up. If I ask that question, for example, let's model that. If I ask myself, why can't you stay committed, Kohila? My brain's going to go, yeah, of course you can, because you take on too many things. You're not focused enough. You don't care about some of the stuff you commit to. You shouldn't be overcommitting. You should take some of it off. It's going to be a real battle, right? With the brain, is going to tell me all sorts of stuff that's going to make me feel what? All of that is going to make me feel what? So pumped to be committed again? No. So drained that I don't even want to commit again, because it's telling me how much of a loser I am. Don't you feel that when your brain starts attacking you? Like when you ask that question, why can't I stay committed? Your brain's going to start attacking you and telling you how much of a loser you have been in not doing the committed things that I've done, right? It's going to tell me how much of a loser I am. Am I going to hear that from my brain and go, oh, I'm so not motivated, so I'm going to get committed? No, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to have a bad energy in me now. I'm going to just say, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to stay committed to this, because you know what? I can't stay committed to this, because you know what? I've never did it. You know what? I'm not capable. Anybody can relate to this? When our brain beats us up, it really makes us feel bad. It doesn't make us feel really good to go, okay, let's figure out how can I get back to commitment? It doesn't make us do that, right? But if I say, what in my system isn't ready yet? Do you see the shift? It's a big shift, because we're not blaming this person in here. There's a person who lives in here. You can't blame that person and say, let's go. It doesn't happen like that. You don't motivate yourself by putting yourself down and getting mad at yourself and saying all these rude things to yourself, because your brain does, right? And then expect it to be, okay, now I'm going to stay committed for you. No, it's going to say, forget it. You're not capable. Don't even try. But if you say, what in my system isn't ready yet? Do you see the shift? I'm a system. Something in my system isn't ready. Let's look at it from that perspective. Then don't you have more compassion towards yourself? That's what I feel with myself since I started doing that, is I have so much compassion for me, and when I'm helping others, I have so much compassion for others, because it's not about me being this or that. It's my system isn't ready yet. So I just have to look at it from what system isn't ready. If the system is ready, then I can do it. It shifts so much, right? So that changes everything. Try it next time. Instead of asking yourself and beating yourself about something, just shift your question to what system isn't ready yet. It goes for everything. It's not just for commitment. It can go for everything. So when your system becomes ready, right? If all your systems are ready, you don't need to force consistency. You will be consistent. There's nothing that's going to stop you. You will do what you committed to. And you will move so naturally. It's like the flow in the river. River flows naturally, right? You follow through without fighting yourself because everything is in alignment. All your systems are activating and they're just in flow. So that's why whenever we talk about our method, I always talk about blocks to flow. We all have blocks in our system. We don't know what those blocks are. We tend to beat ourselves up from the level way higher. But when we go to the root of it, it's always a block. And these blocks comes from so many different aspects. It could be from your childhood. It could be from yesterday, somebody did something, right? It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's there. The block has to be moved. And then that's what creates the flow. And you don't fight yourself after that. So if you have been calling yourself inconsistent, if you've been frustrated with your lack of discipline, right? It may not be you, is what I'm trying to say in today. It's not you. It's your system asking for support. And what we do when we don't think about it from the system perspective, we start putting pressure on it. How many of us say to ourselves, I need to try harder. I just need to go commit more. I need you to, I'm so frustrated with you, right? When I talk to myself, when I'm not committed to something, right? So what in your life has you committed to something, and then you didn't look from the system perspective, and your brain and you started attacking, and now you feel like, I'm just inconsistent. I'm so frustrated because I lack discipline. What part of your life are you doing that? And here are some questions I wanna really for you to think about and really reflect on. What's the commitment you keep breaking constantly? What is a commitment? So then when you ask that question, whatever comes up with that, start noticing what is happening around that commitment. Like, what is coming up? What is the pattern? What is making you break it? Why can't you stay committed to it? What is wrong? It's not because you don't want to, because obviously we created the commitment, so we do want it, but we're in a loop of not completing it and breaking it. So what is it? I would get very curious about what is happening inside of me. What are the thoughts that are coming around this commitment? Why am I keep breaking it? So curiosity is everything. When we become curious about ourselves, we're always curious about other people. We love to figure out about other people's, right? We're always about other people, but that's the thing. When you come home, it's about you more than other people. And when you're so system aligned and activated, you become a different person. Everybody else looks that from that lens, everything else looks different. The whole world looks different too. So what is the commitment you keep breaking now? Become more aware of it. Okay, the next question I want you to think about is, where are you forcing yourself and calling it discipline? If you're forcing yourself in something, that is not a commitment your internal state has accepted. You have forced yourself to accept this commitment, and there's something behind it that's blocking you. You haven't accepted, and it doesn't mean you need more discipline. That's not going to solve the problem. So again, awareness is huge here. Just noticing. Where are you forcing yourself and calling it discipline? What are you calling inconsistency? What are you calling inconsistency that's actually overwhelm? Maybe whatever you're calling inconsistent in your life and what you're doing, maybe that's an overwhelm and you're just calling it inconsistent. So look at in your life, where are you overwhelmed? Maybe that's what creates that inconsistency, and that's what takes you off of your commitment. You see how they're all related, right? So go back and become aware of that conversations that you would have with your brain and where you feel overwhelmed. Which part of your system is saying, I can't hold this? Which part of the systems are saying, I can't hold this, I don't have the capacity for this? Then when you can't hold it, you're going to have inconsistency. When you have inconsistency, you're going to call yourself, you don't have discipline. And when you don't have discipline, and if you're inconsistent, you can't stay committed to what you commit to. You can see how it all kind of works on each other, right? What would change if you stop pushing and start listening? Listening meaning listening here. What would change if you stop pushing and start listening? Try it. Because the more we can listen to ourselves, the more we become aware, the more we know that we're not in alignment. And the more we know we're not in alignment, we know our systems are not activated. And then from systems that are offline and unactivated, you try doing any kind of things like commitment, discipline, mindset. Those are all results that don't happen. That's why you have to push harder. That's why you have to feel like you're working so hard in life. Because life should be happy and fun and easy. But for some reason, it has become so much harder because we keep pushing things. Because we forgot to be home. We're not here. We're outside of our body. Because we are so much distracted. Sometimes we're in the past, sometimes we're in the future, sometimes we're just out into the world where chaos is constant, distraction is nonstop, information overload is unbelievably nonstop, right? So what happens is it's too much to be here. So what are things you can do today to come home to yourself? So when when your commitment is not working, pushing harder for discipline is not going to change anything. So stop trying to be more committed, because that's what a lot of people advise. So you got to get more committed. Like you got to, come on, this is your life. Come on, take it seriously. Commit. Yeah, I'm trying. I can't. I don't know how. Yeah, because our society never taught us that. How do we get to these things? We always talk in results. Isn't it crazy that we talk in results? We advise people in results rather than telling them how to get there. We just love to say it as if it just happens to us. It doesn't just happen. There has to be things that happen inside for it to be a result. Gets me so mad that we've been always school, adults in our life from a young age always told us, yeah, you better be disciplined. Okay, I'm trying. I don't know how, but if you show me, but nobody shows us, right? And then we think, oh, they can do it. I can't do it. Oh, I must be stupid. I must be the one who doesn't know this. But in fact, nobody knows it. Some people push so hard and they master pushing and living so hard that they've mastered discipline, but at a cost, right? That there's always a cost to it. There is always a cost to it. Or some people intuitively, they master their systems. That could be it too. I'm not saying nobody else mastered their systems. They could have, but intuitively, they don't say it because if you ask them, they would never go to the system level to explain it. They would just say, I got up at 6 a.m. and I disciplined myself like this for 60 days. Now I have a habit, and that's how it all works. And I tried doing that. It didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for you, but it never worked for me. Those kind of advices never worked for me. So here's how I want to close today. Answer those questions, become more aware of yourself. If anything, keep breathing so deeply that you come home to yourself, and so that you can become more aware. The more aware you are, the more committed you can become, because that's where commitment starts. So stop trying to be more committed, start becoming more ready. So readiness starts within, doesn't start outside. Awesome. So that's what I want to leave you with today is stop trying to be more committed, start becoming more ready. Ask yourself, is this soul ready? That's the most important thing. So thank you for watching today. Thank you for being here. I love to get all of your comments. If you're watching me, leave a comment for me. I've been doing these for every single day. I don't stop because I want to share. I want to make sure that you understand anything that we want to accomplish is not outside of you. It's inside of you. And you own your mind. It doesn't own you. These are two things. If we can really master these, your life will be so easy. It will be so enjoyable. It would be so beautiful. Except we're told everything we need is out here, or that's how it's perceived. And my mind just does whatever it wants to, right? We don't control it. You can talk to it. You own it. Don't let it tell you whatever crap it wants to tell you, because it can make up more stories than any of the movie producing companies can ever create. Your brain can create stories. It's a crazy machine. So don't listen to it. Take control of it. And that's how you can also get to be committed, because then you can work on the system internally by controlling the brain and what it tells you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Enjoy this weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.